Assuming you know nothing about web design, how long will it take you to learn it, and how much money will you make in your first year of being a web designer? And this is all based off of personal experience, so take this for what you will, and let's get right into it. So I know you want to make as much money as possible, we all do, but in this video I'm going to try to give you a really realistic answer of how long you should expect to be learning web design and SEO, and how much money you can realistically expect to make in the first year of running your agency. I'm going to break down into phases what it might look like for you to learn the bare minimum to be able to build websites, run SEO campaigns, and sell your services to potential clients. So starting out with phase one, you're going to obviously have to learn web design and SEO. And this is not very easy, but it's also not as difficult as you might think. So when it came to my agency, this process took me about 1 to 2 months, and that's just to learn the bare minimum to be able to put together a website, put together small projects, and they're going to be nothing fancy, but it is going to be enough to start getting the ball rolling and start growing that agency. It's not like you need to be an expert when you're getting started. All you have to be able to do is build simple websites and start building a portfolio that's going to show off your skills to potential clients. Now obviously there's a lot of factors to consider here. Like obviously some people learn skills much faster than others, and some people are going to want to dive much deeper into the web building part of it. But just to be able to start out and build small websites, I think that 1 to 2 months is pretty realistic. And another factor to consider is what type of web building platform you're going to use. So are you going to use WordPress, Webflow, Shopify? These platforms all have completely different ways of working, and they're going to take you different amounts of time to learn. Now I would say WordPress is going to be much more difficult for you, and it's also going to make your life a lot more painful. I made a whole video about why you should not use WordPress and why you should use Webflow, and I definitely recommend that you check it out. So I definitely recommend Webflow for your builds, and Webflow is going to be the best platform to actually learn these skills with, because you're going to have the superior platform for putting together websites that look amazing and work amazing. And I'm not going to go more into it in this video, but definitely check out my other videos or my playlist labeled Webflow. So now that you've learned web design and you've made it through phase one, we're going to move into phase two, which is learning how to sell your services and market your business. Now, when I say 1 to 2 months for this part of the process, obviously there's a lot of wiggle room here, because potentially do this a lot faster if you've had some sales experience, or if you're an outgoing personality, you're very extroverted, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to actually get in front of all these faces. So when I say 1 to 2 months, obviously there's a lot of wiggle room here, because some people are going to be much more extroverted, they're going to be much more outgoing personalities, and it's going to be a lot easier for those people to start getting this phase going. In our agency, it took us 2 to 3 months to do this, because we didn't actually know what type of sales strategies that we were going to be trying, and we had no experience in sales whatsoever. We were also just coming out of high school pretty much and out of college, and so the fact that we're younger, we don't have as much experience as some people that have been dealing with sales and people for a long time. So I would say that you can be the best judge of how long this is going to take you. If you think that it's going to be on the shorter side because you might have more skills in this area, that's great. And if it's going to take a little longer, that's fine, no problem. Everybody can develop the skills of sales and marketing, and it's going to make a huge difference for your business, because without it, you don't have a business. So one of my favorite ways to find clients is by networking. And I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot more in this video. I actually have another video, how to find new clients, and I think that one is going to be a good watch if you're struggling with this part of the process. If you really want to start making connections and growing out your network, then networking meetings or warmer outreach is going to be the way to do it. Now phase 3 is execution, and what I mean by that is, now that you've learned web design, SEO, marketing, sales, everything you might need to actually run your agency, now you're going to have to apply it. And this can be a really difficult part, because now you're not just watching videos or taking courses, you actually have to go and apply your knowledge and your practices in the real world. Don't get discouraged if you're not doing well at the very start of execution phase. You're definitely not going to immediately be a natural unless you are one of those very few lucky individuals. Finding your first clients is going to be the hardest part of running your business, and every single time that you get a new client, it's going to be progressively easier and easier to find more clients. This is really like the snowball effect or the compound effect, whatever you want to call it. But when you get your first commitments and your first clients to sign with you, and if you do a great job, then they're going to connect you with more clients, and then therefore the snowball will keep growing and growing until you have a large agency that has new referrals coming in consistently. So phase 3 doesn't exactly have a time frame on it, and that's because the rest of your business or for the rest of your days freelancing, this is theoretically what you're going to be doing. You're going to be executing. And so I don't want to put a time frame on it. I have already put a time frame on how long it's going to take you to learn it and sell it. So this is kind of the continuation of those two phases, and it's going to be the life of your business. So to wrap up the video, I think that if you're starting with absolutely no knowledge of web design, sales, you don't have a lot of skills, that's not a problem, but it is going to take you a little while to learn these skills. And I put together 1 to 2 months and 1 to 2 months for the first two phases. And so I think roughly 2 to 4 months just to learn the bare minimum of skills. It took about 6 months to really get the ball rolling and be confident in building websites and selling our services. But once we did get the hang of it, the ball started rolling really fast, and I think that it's just a matter of building the right foundation for you to build your agency on. So if you skip these steps, if you skip actually learning web design or learning SEO properly, or you skip the part about selling your services, which I definitely don't recommend, then you're going to be missing out on some really crucial parts of the skills that you need to run your agency. So to give you a final answer, I think that 4 to 6 months is a little bit more reasonable, because make sure that you're not missing out on these foundational skills. And I know you're going to want to make a lot of money fast, and I know that 4 to 6 months sounds like a really long time to actually learn web design and sales, but trust me, it's not easy, especially if you have zero experience going into it. And I think that rushing it is actually going to be one of the worst things that you could do, because learning these skill sets is the most valuable thing that you could do. Now obviously, if you already have built some websites, you already know some SEO and some marketing strategies, then this is going to be a little faster for you, and it's going to be a little bit less of a headache, less stress, because you're already going to have some of the skills. So the important thing to keep in mind is that having a long-term mindset is really important in any situation. I mean, think about the stock market. You don't want to make short-term decisions, you want to make long-term decisions. And that applies to running your agency and owning any business for that matter. You want to be thinking about the next year or the next 3 to 5 years if you're going to actually have long-term success in the industry. And I know that 4 months to 6 months seems like a really long time to learn the skills, but I think that it's truly a realistic answer, and I think that that's going to be enough time for you to feel very comfortable with building websites and selling your services. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I know that my first year was very difficult, and if I had somebody telling me all of this, then I think it would have made a big difference. And I did learn a lot from great YouTubers out there, but I'm just trying to, facilitate the process for new web designers in general.